Hello, hello. This is J Goddess with J Goddess Tarot, and I'm here today with another timeless pick a card reading. And this reading is what areas of healing do I need to focus on or work on right now? So I have four piles for you to choose from. I have rose quartz, clear quartz, amethyst, and citrine. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. So take a few moments, take a few deep breaths, and pick the pile or piles that resonate with you. It's okay to pick more than one pile because there may be more than one message for you. While you're doing that, take a moment and please check out the links in the description box below. I have a link to my Instagram where I post readings for the collective pretty often. I have a link to my Amazon wish list decks that I would like to have, and I also have a link to my Patreon. Please join us over there. We're a high vibe tribe all about self-love, self-empowerment, self-improvement. I post exclusive pick a card readings, too juicy for YouTube readings, and tutorials on how to allow you to do things such as develop your intuition. So if you are ready, take one or two more deep breaths, pick your pile, and let's get started. All right, my pile ones, for those of you who selected this lovely rose quartz, this is your reading about what do you need to, areas you need to focus on right now in terms of healing. And reading this energy off the top, it's love. You need to work on some areas, my pile ones, that allow you to be more open to love. So specifically, this is the energy that's coming through. You have been through, I'm feeling for some of you, a lot in terms of romantic relationships. Those relationships where the other partner was not contributing as much as you were to the relationship, or they may not have been authentic or honest with you, and it resulted in maybe some not so great things. And for some of you, having some scars, emotional scars about being in relationships and what that means. As a response, I feel for some of you, actually for many of you, it has been to kind of be a little jaded or shut down towards love or being open to love in the relationships because of these experiences. So what Spirit is saying is believe once again in the magic of love and know that to be vulnerable to the right romantic partner, to someone who has earned that part of you, is not a sign of weakness, but is very much a sign of strength. And I'm definitely getting love coming through a lot. You chose the rose quartz, but also the green in these cards. I'm feeling very strongly. Another thing you need to heal, work on healing and rebalancing is your heart chakra, my pile ones, as well as your throat chakra, because the blue here with celestite and some of the blue in the background, I'm getting you need to rebalance or heal your heart chakra, but also take the lessons you've learned from the relationships you've been through and the things that you've been through, but also be sure to be more clear in your communication in your future relationships, romantic, all relationships, but specifically your future romantic relationships, and let your partner know what you need to feel supported, to feel loved. I'm hearing love languages. This channel is not for children, so I'm talking about people who are 18 plus in adult relationships. I'm not talking about high school, if you're in high school and dating. I'm talking about individuals who are adults, and for the most part, you take care of yourself so you can actually go out and date, and you're not dealing with those things that people who are still considered children have to deal with. I'm talking about an adult relationship in many aspects, but the aspects of specifically here being open, being vulnerable with somebody, spending time with someone, and learning to communicate your needs of what you need to feel loved. I'm hearing clearly you need to know and then communicate your love language in your future relationships. So you also have celestite, which says soothe your soul, and malachite, it's time to transform. What I'm feeling here, the energy I'm getting is transform those experiences that weren't so great in your past, that may have hurt you, my pile ones, in your past. Transform them. See them from a new perspective. It's not about downplaying them or discounting the significance of them or the impact they've had on you. Not at all. Spirit is saying, take those things and use them from something to learn from, and pivot your perspective maybe that you have right now. I'm feeling a lot of you may be more guarded or closed off towards love. Use this as an opportunity to pivot and engage in a different way in romantic relationships. Other cards that came out for you says, I am healing. So I feel for many of you, you are actually focused on your healing from those past relationships or things of that nature. Events, experiences that have brought you to where you are today, and maybe having that view of love and relationships that's not allowing you to be as open as you could be to receive love. And this card came out, I am safe inside myself. The energy I'm picking up here is, for some of you, in hindsight, looking at some of the relationships that you've been through, you can now see where you had inklings about a person or how a situation could possibly play out very early on before some of those more negative aspects, manifested. And this is saying, I am safe inside myself, but I'm feeling this is strongly saying also trust your intuition about someone. If you meet a person out and you start chatting it up with them, you meet a guy at a bar, meet a girl at a bar, whatever, and they're saying all the right things, but there's something in you, you're just like, something just doesn't seem to add up. And I'm not talking about, definitely if something is telling you that they are in any way unsafe for you, absolutely listen to that. But I'm feeling this is more talking about character. So if you are a very, Powans, I feel many of you are a very responsible, reliable person, you work, you go to school, whatever, you're supporting yourself, and you meet this person out that you're interested in, you two strike up a conversation, and they're giving you this song and dance about, you ask them very honest questions about, what do you do for a living? Or, what are you working on if you're in school? And they give you kind of these kind of answer without giving you answers. And your intuition is telling you, hey, this is kind of a red flag about they may be a flaky person. They may be a user. They may be none of those things. But my point is, when you're engaging with this person and your intuition is you kind of feeling that poke telling you about them, you are safe inside yourself. Listen to it. I feel in the past you haven't, and it has gotten you into some situations where people may have been using you or not giving you the amount of respect that you deserve, or not putting in as much as the relationships. But very early on, before those patterns emerged, my pal ones, I'm feeling strongly that you saw signs that you chose to just think, oh, I'm being this way, or I'm being too judgmental, or I'm being too hard on this person. In some cases that may be true, but I feel for the most part, you ignored something that was very accurate about that person. So this is telling you, definitely listen to it. So be open, but you don't have to be open and naive to love. You can be open and very self-aware and very intentional. And I feel that's what Spirit is going you to do. But still believe in the magic. Still believe in the magic of it all. So two other cards that came out was begin to see yourself. Hold this one up. Begin to see yourself as a spiritual being having an earthly experience of growth and transformation. So once again, I'm feeling this is calling you to transform those experiences and live life in this particular area from a different perspective, from a more informed and enlightened perspective. It doesn't mean you have to be closed off at all. And the last card that came out for you was soften and open back into love all day long. Once again, reiterating, this is talking about love and relationships for many of you who have gone through something and it has caused you to shift the way you think or interact, or maybe shut down to or not be open to relationships. Spirit is calling you to take those experiences and transform and live from a different lens, see things through a different lens, and interact in a different way, and be open to love. Believe in the magic of love. And you're being vulnerable, I feel, might have been used against you in the past with the wrong partner, with those people who weren't authentic, with those people who don't have your best interest at heart. But you have learned from that. You have learned from those experiences and probably very much learn the signs of those people that are not good for you or just toxic individuals. And now you can go forward and know it's a sign of strength to know who you can be vulnerable with and who you can't be vulnerable with, because I feel the message that initially came out of those exchanges was being vulnerable equals weakness. That's not accurate. You were trusting someone who was not worthy of your trust, and you were vulnerable to a person who used it against you. That is against them, not you. Yes, you were hurt from it, but you also learned a lot from it and probably are very clear very early on now going forward in those signs that you see in a person when you're in that romantic relationship sense that will point that out right away. So Spirit is asking you to take those experiences and now interact, like I said, from a point of wisdom, enlightenment, higher understanding, and more self-awareness, not to shut down and don't believe that, love is for you, or you don't want to date, or everyone's out to hurt you. No, not at all. That's not the case. It's calling for you to soften, and open back up. Now, granted, this is not an overnight thing, so please do it at the pace that works for you. It does not have to be, you hear this message and resonates with you and you think you have to jump out and do it tomorrow. This is a timeless reading. So I believe whenever you come across it is when you needed to hear it. But really think through what that looks like for you. Respect your own boundaries and ways of interacting in terms of comfort. And then kind of from there, make a plan in some sense of how you want to get back into love, or you want to get back into dating, or etc. So the last thing I want to do is I want to bring out my my dice to see what signs, just for extra confirmation for some of you. These are my divination dice, and let's see what signs come up. So I am getting Aquarius, Virgo, I believe that's Pisces. So these could be your sun, moon, rising, Mars, Venus. Doesn't have to be any of those signs, but it definitely could be. So if you are any of those signs, or those signs fall into any of your houses, this might be extra confirmation that this message is for you. So that is where I'll leave you today, my pal ones, about what you need to work on. It really seems like a lot of working on heart chakra, throat chakra, and seeing the things you've gone through in terms of relationships from a different perspective, so you can move forward and believe in the magic of love again. So please feel free to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification below so you know when I post new videos. Also, check out the links in the description box for my Instagram, Amazon wishlist, and Patreon. We're a high vibe tribe over there. I post exclusive pick-a-cards, as well as two hot for YouTube readings, as well as tutorials on how to do practical things like develop further in your intuition. If this is where I leave you for today, thank you for letting me read for you, and I will see you in my next video. Hello, my pal twos. If you selected the beautiful clear quartz, this is your reading about what areas of healing do you need to work on right now. So when I pulled these cards, the energy that came up for me is you are potentially restless in a situation that you are in. It could be a job, it could be a relationship, etc., because you've been doing this same thing so long, and you don't and you are desirous of some type of positive change, excitement, enthusiasm, but maybe you're going about it in a scattered or unorganized way. That's truthfully the energy that came up. So take what resonates as well, always, and leave what doesn't. So Spirit is calling you to get grounded. And the way I'm reading get grounded in this pile is get clear. Get clear about what you want, about where you're at, and about what you want. Like, sit down and write that down, my pal twos. And then we have the orange sunshine came up, as well as the pineapple expansion. I feel this is saying, literally, spend more time out in the sun. I feel it will be better for you. It'll be just good for you. And I don't mean necessarily out tanning. That's not what I mean. Like going on walks, just spending time out in fresh air, spending time out in nature. I feel that would really be beneficial for you, my pal twos, in getting grounded and getting that clarity about where you are, what you want, and then the steps to get there. And then pineapple expansion. So the colors automatically are indicating to me up front that your root chakra and your sacral chakra are two areas of healing that you really want to look at, my pal twos. And grounding came up twice. So I feel that one of the reasons that you may be taking like these pot shot actions and your actions may be a little scattered is what you're in right now, this relationship, this job, this mode of life. It feels very safe and secure. And even though you don't like it and you want to change it in some way, shape, or form, to really think about changing it has maybe some subconscious concerns or fears about your safety and your security. For example, if you've been in a job at the same place and the job is okay, like it's not bad, like you don't have a toxic environment, it's not crazy, but you want something more, but you don't really see the potential of movement there, or that's not really the culture at the company, but you're thinking about, you know what, maybe I should get another job. As much as you can consciously say that, subconsciously that thought maybe really makes you uncomfortable because it's taking a chance, and there may be a feeling of some type of threat to your security, like your financial security in that case. Even though if you're going to get another job, I'm willing to bet it's for more money than you currently make, but just that thought of change makes you a bit uncomfortable. So I think that's the get grounded, because we have beets, get grounded, but we also have hematite, ground yourself. So I feel like I said, you're taking probably some scattered action to make changes, and that universe is saying take a step back and ground yourself before you're moving forward to, I'm hearing, make the changes you want to make in a sustainable way, because that's the point. So for instance, if you want to, let's go back to the job scenario. If you want to change jobs, sit back and think, okay, do I have the qualifications to go to the next level in whatever I'm doing, and I want another job to make more money? If you don't, maybe you need to sit down and figure out, okay, what's a plan for me to achieve the education? Maybe it's a certification, maybe it's a formal degree, whatever. Maybe it's maybe it's not, so formal, but you need different type of knowledge. How are you going to attain or acquire that knowledge so then you can update your resume and then apply for that job, somewhere else? Though that's really grounding yourself, taking that step back, being honest with yourself, I'm also hearing, and being honest about where you are, but being honest about where you want to go, and then really thinking out strategic steps to get there. Because once you ground yourself, and as I'm saying, I feel the sunshine is important, getting out in nature, letting your mind kind of wander and dream, you're going to have so much expansion after this. Now, what other, also sunstone, take pleasure in the things that you do. So I feel for some of you, you're not getting a whole lot of pleasure at what you do. It's kind of a grind. It's kind of, you do it because that's your routine. You do it. You get up and are at work every day at this job that you don't hate because it's not toxic, but it doesn't throw your socks off to be there. So I feel that this is, that's one example. Another example that's coming through very clearly in this pile is for relationships. Say you're in this relationship with someone, and once again, my readings are for adults. You're in this relationship, and say you live together, and you all split the bills, and it's not good. Like, it's not toxic. No, it's not abusive. It's not bad, but it's not moving forward in the way that you would like to, whether that be marriage, whether that be a more serious commitment, whether that be toward growth and expansion as a couple, like a power couple, like you're building your empire. It's just not moving forward, but you stay in it because you're comfortable, like in some certain ways. And I think that's the comfort is causing you to chafe a bit. Maybe and I put air quotes around that comfort. The familiarity is causing you to chafe, and you may be taking like scattered action to spice up your relationship by maybe suggesting things that aren't healthy for the relationship. Maybe you're suggesting that you date other people and your person is like, what's going on here? Because they truly may be totally content because you haven't grounded yourself, meaning gotten honest with yourself, and maybe you haven't had the conversation with your person that you're with about, hey, I'm feeling we're stagnant. This is why. Let's talk about this. And instead you just come out of left field with like, hey, let's date other people. That's going to be jarring. So I feel that's where if you're not grounding yourself first, your actions toward more excitement or fulfillment may be a little scattered and could be to an extent a setback for you, my pal twos. These two cards specifically came up, and I feel they are strongly speaking to people in relationships. This one says, I am wanted. And this one says, I enjoy my own company. For some of you, not for all of you, I am getting the sense that you are in a relationship that's not, like I said, it's not a bad relationship, but it's kind of stagnant and not as fulfilling as you would like it to be, because you don't like to be alone. You don't like to be without a partner. So for those of you to whom that applies, Spirit is saying, enjoy your own company. I enjoy my own company. Learn to enjoy your own company. There's nothing wrong with being single. And I know because of, magazines and media and everything, there's a lot of people that look at being single as toxic or a disease. It is not. You can do a lot of things in a season of singleness, healing, growth, self-awareness, emotional intelligence. You can work on a lot of things when you don't have another person taking up your time. And I feel enjoying your own company if you're in this relationship. And this is for those of you who are more feeling that the relationship isn't worth doing these things for, or you two just are not at that point. It may be best, take this as it resonates, to walk away from that relationship and say, I'd just rather be single for now. Not everyone is that easy for. But I feel that more applies to people who are a little more casual in their relationships. If that is you and that is the case, learn to enjoy your own company, and the concerns you may have about being single, really take a step back and think, what activities can you engage in to help you do more, learn more, explore more, learn something about an area you want to learn more about, work on some areas that you may have been neglecting while being in a relationship because you have a little more time to yourself. Like, learning to enjoy your own company is a massive part of that. And the best way to do that, especially if you are the type that stays in relationships solely more so out of a discomfort with not being with yourself, explore that. This is a great time to do it. Some other cards that came out for you is use equanimity to calm your emotions. I feel for some of you, my pal, too, for many of you, some of the scattered action that you are taking and trying to get out of some stagnancy or some complacency, whatever, has to do with you operating it from an emotional standpoint. So using equanimity to calm your emotions means just that. Be more even keeled, be more practical in the things that you're doing, in order to make some positive changes, even if it's to shake things up or spice things up. Do it in a thoughtful way, because that will help you calm your emotions and operate from a more logical, conscious point of view, which I feel is truly who you are. But I feel this kind of stagnancy is causing you some discomfort. And for you, I'm really seeing the Eight of Swords with this. I don't know. I didn't pull tarot for this, but Eight of Swords is coming up pretty strongly. And another card that you got, my pal twos, is learn to keep your heart open and soft through the trials of life. I feel for some of you who picked this pile, I feel for some of you wanted to pick pile one, so feel free to go back and look at that video as well. Learning to keep your heart open and soft through the trials of life, especially if you're in a place where right now it's not where you desire to be. It's not the ideal relationship. It's not the ideal job, what have you. It's okay. It is okay. Do not allow that to harden your heart or to make you give up hope or make you feel that what you want is impossible or not out there. Just really be conscious and aware of that, and do the things that you have to do to support you in that, supporting the balancing of your, especially I'm feeling root chakra and sacral chakra, with all of this orange and with the red and the dark hematite. This almost looks like black, but it's dark brown. Like really working on balancing those chakras, but really becoming more self-aware and taking an honest step back and assessment of where you are in your relationships and how you're feeling. So that is what's coming up for you, my pal, too. So now I'm going to roll my divination dice to see what signs come up, which could serve as extra confirmation. So we have Sagittarius, we have Virgo, and we have Libra. The light is kind of crazy. So it's my Virgo, my Sagittarius, and my Libra. That could be your sun, moon, rising, Mars, or Venus. It doesn't have to be any of those, but if any of those are your signs, this could be for you. This is extra confirmation that this could be for you. This pile could be for you. So that is my reading for you today, my pal twos. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also hit the bell notification so you know when I post new content. Also check out the links below in the description box. I have a link to my Instagram where I post readings for the collective pretty frequently. I have a link to my Amazon wishlist, and I also have a link to my Patreon. We are a high vibe tribe over there. I post exclusive picker cards where you can also vote on the content that I post. I post Too Hot for YouTube readings, and I post tutorials that allow you to do practical things like build and work on your intuition. If this is where I leave you for today, thank you for letting me read for you, and I will see you in my next video. Hello, my pal threes. For those of you who selected this beautiful amethyst crystal, this is your reading about what areas of healing do you need to work on right now, or what areas of healing do you need to focus on right now. So definitely different than my first two readings, the first two piles. The energy that I'm getting here, my pal threes, that you are my people pleasers. And I say that from a sense of it may not come out in traditional ways. So what I'm strongly feeling is that you support everybody else. And I'm not talking about financially per se. But what I mean is, like, you're always there for people, the friends and family. You're the one they can count on to do this. You're the one they can count on to do that. It could be in some financial capacity of, the person they always come to borrow money from. But I'm feeling it's more so you make time for things that are important to them. You support this friend in doing this. You support this family member in doing this. You help with this. You help with that. And I feel that the shadow that's coming out is Spirit is asking you to be honest with yourself about what perspective are you approaching this. I'm helpful. I'm the one that's known as dependable. Are you doing it out of genuine desire to do it? I feel for the most part you are. But the shadow is, Spirit is saying, look at the shadow side of it. Are you doing it out of a need to please others? Are you potentially showing all this support, doing all these things from that you're doing it, but also that it's not returned and it's maybe causing a little resentment? So be aware of the shadow attributes of this behavior, my pal threes. And I feel with cinnamon longevity that came out, it's saying, I feel Spirit is strongly saying the way you are going about things, if this does resonate with you, if this doesn't, this may not be your pile, or take what resonates, leave what doesn't. This can't last long term because you are burning yourself out. I'm feeling my pal threes. You're very strong. You're very dependable. Actually, Spirit said that. I am strong. You're strong. You can handle a lot. That doesn't mean you deserve to have so many things put on your back, my pal threes. And I'm feeling there's a lot of people that come to you as their rock, and they're out here a whole hot mess, and you are always the rescuer. You are always the dependable one. You're always the reliable one, but you are not getting that same energy in return, my pal threes, and you're aware of that. So I think Spirit is coming through and saying you are strong indeed, but don't let that be used against you for then people's perspective. Oh, well, she's strong. She can handle it. That may be true, but that doesn't mean they have a right to dump their shit, meaning their drama and foolishness, nor doesn't mean they have a right to dump their expectations on you, my pal threes. So some other cards that came out for you were Pink Opal. Be kind to yourself. I feel for a lot of you in this pile 3, you are neglecting your own self-care and your own needs in this effort to constantly support others and be there for other people and uplift other people and all of that things. Be kind to yourself. So Spirit is calling you to really take a step back, reflect, and focus on your own self-care. And guess what? No is not a dirty word. I think some of you needed to hear that. And people aren't going to like hearing no, but understand the perspective is this. They don't like hearing no because it's not getting them what they want. But these are the same people, I'm going to take a strong guess here, that have no problem telling you no or being unreliable and unsupportive of you. Just remember that. And you know this. The shadow side is coming up saying you're recognizing this. You're aware of this. And then Chrysocolla also came out, start fresh. What I'm feeling this is saying for you, my pal threes, is start afresh in the way you interact with people. And I'm feeling for a lot of you, this is like family and friends related. It could be job or relationship, but I'm feeling for a large portion of you, this is talking about family and friends, expectations they have of you, support you're showing them. You're going to have to start afresh. Now, for some, you may lose some of these relationships or people may distance themselves from you, but you are strong. It's okay. It's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you are retraining these people. And I know that sounds so awful, but you are retraining them on how to interact with you and what they can rely upon, and being comfortable saying no. Get comfortable telling people no, my pal threes. I feel, and erecting boundaries or reinforcing boundaries is also coming through strongly for you, my pal threes. I am making room for fun. This is interesting because in all of this reading, I'm feeling a lot of responsibility. And part of self-care is ensuring that you're having fun. So being kind to yourself and having fun make perfect sense. You need to have fun, and I feel you are neglecting your own sense of fun or activities you enjoy, or allowing people who are dependent upon you to kind of manipulate you into feeling bad for having fun. Like, for instance, if you tell a relative or a friend no you can't do something, you have something planned, then they want to try to give you this little guilt trip. But guess what? 2 things. If you're listening to this reading, like I said, my channel is not for children. You are grown. Tell people no. And know that you do not have to explain your no. Let your no stand on its own. They may not like to hear it, but guess what? That's a them problem, not a you problem. Now, please understand, I'm not talking about people who are taking care of children who are their dependents and minors. Yes, you need to set boundaries there, but that's a different reading. That's not the energy that's coming through here. The energy that's coming through is that you are an adult and you have other adults with very high expectations of you, and they take you for granted and they don't appreciate everything you're doing. And your shadow, part of you knows this, but you're constantly trying to silence that part of yourself, thinking that you're a bad person for getting these thoughts. Oh, this is coming through strong. So somebody needed to hear that. Let your no be a no. You do not have to explain yourself. And if they don't like it, that's really on them when you can't sacrifice your time. And I don't feel this is not saying be hard-hearted, because I don't feel you are at all, my pal threes. This is calling you to be more discerning on how you spend your time and the support that you show people. Do it in a way that adds to your longevity, because what you're doing now, my pal threes, I feel is not sustainable. And Spirit is calling you to take a step back, be aware of that, and start fresh with how you interact and with how you support people. Some other messages that came out for you are respect your inner cycles and honor them on your healing journey. So for this, the energy I'm getting is respect your inner inklings, those maybe not so great thoughts or feeling that you're being taken advantage of or used, or respect that. Respect when you don't want to do things for people. It's okay. It's okay to tell people no. It's okay to tell people you have a conflict or you can't do something, and they're just going to have to get comfortable hearing you say no. I still feel for many of you, my pal threes, you'll still be doing a lot to support people, but you need to do it in a way where you're kinder to yourself You're making time for fun. You're making time for your self-care. You're making time for just quiet time and not always being there for somebody else. And this no will also result in, I'm hearing, you not rescuing people. Yeah, because I feel the support that some of you show has turned into rescue. Take what resonates, leaves what doesn't. The last card that came out for you was avoid hateful thoughts, as they are just as hurtful as physically striking someone. This lines up exactly with the shadow. So for those of you who are always showing support, always doing things for others, you're having these thoughts sometimes that you are trying to really push down. I think for many of you, it's causing you to start to be resentful because you're realizing you're not getting the same energy back from people. And that is the huge takeaway here for you, my pal threes. Give these adults the same energy that they're giving you. So if, for instance, if you have that friend that always wants you to be there for them, always support them, be on the phone with them for hours when they go through, some messy relationship drama with the person you already told them they shouldn't be in a relationship with, like you got a bad vibe from them, start saying no. Because this is the same friend that has no time for you when you need to talk something out and you need a commiserating ear to listen with. Start giving this friend the same energy that they're giving you. They are probably emotionally draining and they don't appreciate it, and they're taking your kindness for weakness. I'm sorry, I had to say that. That was hurtful, probably for some of you, but they don't appreciate it. So start taking a step back and reflecting on the fact that you are strong and you are capable. And if that friend distances themselves from you, that's great, because they let them take their toxicity elsewhere. They weren't really your friend. Don't allow their mess to become your mess. It's not. Don't let them transfer that energy to you. Next time they call, what you do is say, hey, I don't have time right now. Or when they call, let them go to voicemail. Start, like I said, you have to start fresh in the way you're interacting with some of these people. And we all know people like this if we don't directly interact with them a lot. We all have friends or acquaintances or family, or have heard these stories from people of folks who act like this. So that is what Spirit is calling you to work on healing right now. Your relationships with yourself, as well as your relationships with others, and the way that you are showing support. All right, so now I want to move on to my divination dice and roll and see if, okay, so this is what came out. We got Gemini, we have Scorpio, and we have Capricorn. Those could be your sun, moon, rising, Mars, or Venus. They don't have to be any of them, but they could be. If any of those signs resonate with you, this is extra confirmation that this message was for you. If they don't describe any of your signs, most of us have all the signs in our charts in some locations, but take what resonates, leaves what doesn't. This is my reading for you for today. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you know when I post new content. Also, check out the links below in the description box. You'll see a link to my Instagram, a link to my Amazon wishlist, and a link to my Patreon. We are a high vibe tribe over there. I post exclusive picker cards. I post Too Juicy for YouTube picker cards, as well as I post tutorials on how to do things such as further develop your intuition. But if this is where I leave you today, my pal threes, I thank you for letting me do so, and I will see you in my next video. All right, welcome my pal fours. For those of you who selected, let's move it a bit, this beautiful citrine crystal, this is your reading about what areas of healing do you need to work on or focus on right now. And the energy I picked up from here is more than any of the other piles, my pal four. If you notice, all of these cards from the deck I'm using came out green. So yes, I'm feeling this has to do with some heart chakra work that may need to be done, but more clearly, this pile, more than any other pile, aligns to the need to look at your diet, as well as the need to look at your thought life, your internal thought life, because I feel that they are related, but you, my pal four, is even more so than the other pals. So the energy that's coming through for me right now is you may be the type of person that says, this great thing happened for somebody else, but that's somebody else. I don't think it's going to happen for me. You kind of have that attitude towards miracles. And Spirit is calling you to believe in miracles, believe in manifestation, believe in those things that you do have control over. And the way to do that is through detoxification. And I feel this is actual detoxification of the body, as well as detoxification of your inner thought life and vitality, because that detoxification is going to lead to vitality. What I'm sensing strongly, coming through strongly, this has to do with maybe material things or finances. So take a step back. Spirit is calling you to take a step back and look at your eating habits. I'm not prescribing any particular diet. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a doctor. But the message that I'm getting clearly is take a step back and take an honest look at what you're consuming. I'm feeling you need to add more greenery specifically to your diet, more fresh foods, fruits and vegetables such as celery and limes, and sour soup. Not 100% sure what that is, but feel free to Google it. But I feel there's a very close alignment with you changing or taking a careful look at or incorporating green foods into your diet and being able to shift your internal thought life. So some other cards that came up are I am the creator of my world and I listen with love to my body. Once again, I feel this is that close tie between knowing that you can manifest and create what you want, as well as listening with love to your body, as well as feeding your body the right things. Because many of us have heard this before, and it's true. Green foods, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, those are living foods. So you are consuming something living. It has a lot higher vibration than some of the other things that we consume. I'm hearing strongly, research what high vibrational foods are. I feel specifically incorporating those foods into your diet to swap out some of the low vibrational, meaning highly processed, highly refined foods, will help you shift your internal thought life. So you also got pyrite, let the money flow in, and agate, get back into balance. And this is why material things are strongly coming through as the thing that you feel is for everybody else, my pal fours, and not you. You having that thought about, it happens for other people and not for me, is hindering money coming in to your life, that flow of money. It's hindering, that attitude could be hindering opportunities that you weren't expecting, or contest wins, or however that comes. That low vibrational thought is hindering the energy of something like that coming in. And agate is calling you to get back into balance. And I feel, once again, this is talking about in your inner thought life, but also in your physical diet more than any other pile. Start to be much more mindful of the food you're eating and look to incorporate more high vibrational, which are usually living and healthy foods. So there's a link for all of us, but I'm feeling, my pal fours, this will rapidly help you shift your inner thought life if you're putting better fuel in the body, is what I'm hearing. So let's see what else came out. So we have, you are an I. Use this higher aspect of yourself to redeem your shadow aspects. You are an I. You are a creator. You can say, I am this, I am that, I am successful. You can claim that and manifest that. And I feel with it saying to use that to redeem your shadow aspects, use that to counter those negative thoughts of such as, it happens for everyone else, but not me. Say that to yourself, claim that, shift your mind toward that belief. I am successful. Just as an example. I feel that will have an impact on that money that is not currently flowing into your life, but it could flow into your life. And also having that mindset of I am, successful can help you get back into balance in your inner thoughts, in your inner world. Then the last card that came out for you is Know Thyself. It is the most important task you have. So my pal fours, I think it's really saying, be honest about where you're at. But be honest about what you want. I feel for some of you saying, oh, everybody else can have it, I can't. You may feel like that, but it's also, for some, a little bit of a scapegoat type of answer to say, to then not encourage you to do some work that may be required of you to do to move toward that thing you say you want, if that makes sense. Just checking it off the list or dismissing it and not really engaging in it, desiring it, dreaming about it. Yes, it's one part, but it also, I feel, is a little bit of a way to not have to do the work because you already feel you're not going to get it, instead of saying, I am successful, and then taking the actions that back that up. So know yourself, know that you may be at that point right now and that it's okay, because you don't know what you don't know, but you can't address what you're not aware of. So once you know yourself and you're more aware of the perspective or the standpoint that you're operating from, you now are more equipped to take different action and make different choices, because knowing yourself is the most important task you have. You have to know how your own operating system works and what you need to do to shift it sometimes, what makes it happy, what makes it sad, what makes it operate at efficient levels, what makes it crash, etc. Very important. Whew, okay, so these are some of the things that came out for you, my Pal Force, and the biggest thing I'm getting that you need to work on healing from is, it's kind of a two-part thing. It's your perspective and your inner thoughts, but it's also something to do with your diet and the food that you take, not being on a diet, but what you're consuming in your daily diet. And I feel Spirit is strongly calling you to incorporate more high vibrational or fresh living foods. Once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, but you know your body and you know the things that you would be best for your body versus the things that aren't. For instance, having a home cooked balanced meal, we all can generally say and are comfortable saying is healthier than running to get fast food or takeaway that has all of these hidden ingredients in it and maybe has a lot of hidden sugars, fats, salts, whatever, things that aren't optimal for our progress or growth. And healing, working on both the diet and the inner world, I feel will allow you to raise your vibration and start understanding that you are the creator of your world. And it'll get you back into balance. So now I want to go to my divination base and roll and see what comes up. All right, so we have Leo. I'm going to pull it up. We have Leo, Aries. Oh, wow. I've never gotten that. Sagittarius. So this is strong fire. So if you are it's all fire that came out. I've never had that before. So if you are a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Mars, or Venus, take that as confirmation that this message may be for you. And if it does, it definitely makes sense. You are a fire sign. You got a lot of fire in you. Even if it doesn't come out in noticeable ways, you have a lot of fire in you. Use that to your advantage to shift and make these changes in your inner world and in your, particularly, the foods that you eat, your dietary intake, so you can start really getting back into balance and letting that money flow in. That is all I have for you today. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notification so you know when I post new content. Also, check out the links below in the description box. I have a link to my Instagram, a link to my Amazon wishlist, and a link to my Patreon. I post exclusive pick-a-cards there, along with Too Juicy for YouTube readings and tutorials on how to do things such as develop your intuition. If this is where I leave you for today, thank you for letting me read for you, and I will see you in my next video.